Welcome back to another edition of the Sabres Spotlight on the Marion Sports Network. And the Marion women's soccer team is getting ready to open up their season on the 31st at Viterbo. And we're going to bring in head coach Jillian Saberlich, who begins her fifth season as the head coach here at Marion. Jillian, thanks for giving us some time. And how's training camp been going so far?
It's going really well. We're day 6 into preseason, so we're finally down to one a day. We've been training twice a day, working really, really hard, mixing in a lot of team bonding things throughout those 2 a day, so it's not strictly 4 hours a day of just all soccer training we've been doing. We went and played some foot golf. Every evening we've been doing some sort of team bonding stuff just to get the chemistry going, girls getting to know each other's names, things about each other. It's going to help us on the field.
How important is that off-the-field team type of bonding activity that you do early in the season? You always have new faces coming in. We'll talk about the women's team bringing back a lot of players from last year, but how important is that team bonding early in the year as the student-athletes get back on campus?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I always say the more comfortable we are with each other, just the better we're going to play. So the girls, they're going to play harder for one another if they know each other personally and know things about each other's backgrounds, things like that. And that's one thing I really do pride this team on is just we are a family and the girls treat each other like they're sisters.
You had a lot of youth on your team last year when it comes to soccer, but you're bringing everybody back off of the team last year that made the postseason. Yep. How big was that experience last year qualifying for the NAC playoffs and that all the experience that some of those younger players got mixed in with your older veterans?
Yeah, so last year we actually had 16 freshmen, which is insane. And, we're returning all of them, which is super exciting. And the fact we did make it to the postseason, that's what those girls know. That's what they're going to expect every year moving forward. So as far as our team and our expectations, I think that's everyone just expects it. It's assumed that we're going to be making the postseason.
You mentioned 16 freshmen going into the 2017 season. When you are selling Marion University in the women's soccer program, what is your message to a potential student athlete of why this is the place that they should come?
Yeah, I honestly think Division III is the way to go just because it's all around just the whole experience as far as a student athlete. So I do sell that here at Marion. I mean, academics comes first. That's our number one priority. But then we also work super hard on the soccer field. So just our values as far as a team is that we work hard in everything we do. We respect those around us. And that just, like I said, we're competitive in everything we do, and that's what I do. That's how I sell our program in Marion.
When you mention training camp and getting ready for the season, when you bring back the number of players that you did, is it different than, like, say, last year when you had 16 new faces, rolling the balls out in mid-August, as opposed to this year where you do have a nice core of freshmen coming in as well, but a lot of the players know what to expect and what's going on with the program?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, we had a ton returning. Last year we only had 4 seniors, so majority returned, and those girls just brought in the expectations, and they've really been doing a great job at mentoring the freshmen coming in and kind of telling them, hey, this is how things work. This is how we do everything, whether it's at training or outside of training. And really just setting the bar high as far as this is how we compete. We compete at practice just because it's going to give us the results in games.
And you do bring back one all-conference player from last season?
Yep.
Can you talk about her?
Yeah, Shannon Coughlin. She was second team all-conference. She's a very unique player. She has the height. She's good size. You look at her and you wouldn't expect her to be as dynamic as she is with the ball at her feet. She's just an outstanding target forward for us. She's great receiving the ball at her feet or high and above, playing it over the backs and chasing it down. She's one of the most humble people I've also ever met. She's the one player where I'm always telling her, Shannon, you have to be more confident. You have to take players on more in 1v1 situations. She's just a great team player. And I expect big things out of her this year.
I was kind of surprised when I went back and looked that Marion only had one make the All-NAC squad, because you look at some of the numbers and you're just looking purely at statistics and numbers. Right. And I know sometimes recognition comes with when you're consistently near the top of the league, but you had a lot of other players that probably could have found themselves onto the first team, second team, or honorable mention last year.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely disappointing. I expected us to at least have 3 with all conference awards, but I just tell girls that's just going to make us light, some fire under our butts and work harder this year just to not only have a more successful season, but then so we get some more girls on the team getting awards.
I'm going to put you on the spot here because we have so many quality student athletes coming back, but what do you look for from some of the other returners this year? Who do you look for to be leaders, and how do you probably have a lot of tough choices on who plays where and when and how much time they're on the pitch?
Yeah, we do. Our team, we have a ton of depth, and that makes our decisions as far as coaches, it makes it really difficult just because we do have so many options. So I've been telling the girls that throughout preseason, we're just trying to figure out which girls are playing well together, which combinations. Really, I don't think we're going to have a set 11 this year. I think every game it's going to switch up depending upon who we're playing. As far as leadership, this year we did something a little different. We have a leadership group versus just one or two captains. So with this leadership group, we're meeting with them on a regular basis, talking about, the pulse of the team, how things are going at training, things that need to be better, things like that. Just so as far as a coaching staff, we feel even more connected with the overall team.
What about keepers this year? Can I talk about your keepers?
Yeah, we this year we actually have 6 keepers on the team. So it just ended up working out that way. We ended up getting 3 really talented freshman keepers. I mean, girls we couldn't turn down. So it seems like a lot, but really it's awesome because it's even numbers. They're really pushing each other hard at training. As far as keepers, to be honest with you, right now we don't know who the starting spot is going to be. It's super competitive at training every day, and that's what we have. One more scrimmage left, so it's as a coaching staff we got to figure out which 2 are going to be our top 2 and who's going to start for us.
I always talk to the coaches about this at the Division III level, recruiting wise. You don't just recruit. You recruit. Your recruiting base is all over, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd say for the most part, we're starting to do a lot more throughout the country. I've gone to Vegas the last 2 years. We're trying to get outside of the Midwest a little bit, which it's shown as on our roster. We have a girl from Michigan, a girl from California, a girl from Indiana. So we're really starting to get outside of the Midwest. But for the most part, we do most of our recruiting in Milwaukee, Chicago area.
Looking at the NAC, Dominican, MSO, I think Dominican was picked to win. MSOE was picked second. Both of those teams got votes to maybe win the conference championship. What's your take on just the NAC in general this year on the women's side?
To be honest with you, every year, I mean, like you said, I've been here for 5 years. Every year, competitive-wise, every team, it's getting closer and closer. I go into every game. I keep telling the girls, you can never be comfortable. You never know what's going to happen. So it's it's going to come down to what team wants it more and what team can consistently show up on a regular basis and, compete at the highest level.
A few of the things that you're looking for your team to move as high up in the standings and be a competitor down the stretch when you're looking for a NAC championship, what's got to happen from this team?
Honestly, and we've been preaching it since day one of preseason, it's just going to be our work rate and competing hard at training. The one thing I always tell the girls is we have to train the way we're going to play just because they're your teammates. We shouldn't play less physical or, make it less demanding. So I think it's really, we just have to increase our competitiveness at training, and that's going to reflect over into the games.
Talk about your coaching staff that you got working with you this year.
Yeah, so this year I have George DiAgostino. It's going to be his second year with us. Super excited about him. He did a great job training our goalkeepers last year, along with obviously the field players. This year we're lucky enough to Michaela Doreen. She graduated last year from Marion. She's been a 4-year goalkeeper for our team. So she's helping out this year. She's going to be training our goalkeepers. So that kind of relieves George from doing, I don't want to say as much, but he's going to be able to do less goalkeeping training and be with the field players a little bit more. And then we have Cassie Gross as well, which she graduated from Marion and played here. So she's a great addition to the staff as well.
Viterbo, the 31st, you go on the road over to the La Crosse area for that. Then at Ripon, September 2nd. Home the 5th against Lawrence and the Saturday the 8th against Dubuque. So what do you look for through the first couple weeks from your team?
I think we're ready to go. We scrimmaged Oshkosh earlier in the week, and it went great. The girls played super, super hard. We were able to play a lot of girls in different positions. So I think that really started us off on a good note as far as just lifted our confidence. I think it made us realize that we're going to be a very solid and competitive team this year. So our schedule, it's very strong. This year I did increase our strength of schedule. So those first 3 games, we got to go into it knowing we have to win. And we got to go into the games knowing that we're confident enough, knowing we're going to get wins in those games and continue to succeed.
Jillian, good luck. Our first look at the Sabres is going to be September 5th against Lawrence. We'll have that on the Marion Sports Network. Thanks for the time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Marion women's soccer coach Jillian Saberlich here on the Marion Sports Network.